Hey guys, welcome back to Medical Coding with Blue. This is the next installment of the Back to the Basics series. So I wanted to talk today about the ICD-10 book. So ICD-10, ICD stands for International Classification of Diseases. This book houses all of your diagnosis codes. So whether you are coding for inpatient or outpatient, or you happen to be coding for a specialty service like the ER, it does not matter. All of your diagnoses are going to come out of this book. Now, if you are accustomed to using an encoder, that's okay. But my advice to any medical coder is not to lose your skill when it comes to using the book and knowing how to look up codes quickly. So let's just say that you want to continue on with medical coding and you want to get more certifications. You're not going to be able to use the encoder. You have to be able to use the book. Don't ever lose your speed, especially if you've got speed now. Don't lose your speed, okay? So I'm just going to be showing different parts of the book today and explaining what each one of the sections does, all right? So let's get started. So you always want to use the latest book, okay? This is the 2018 version, yes, but this is what I have at home right now. So I'm just using this to demonstrate, but right here, it'll tell you when these official code sets are good for, like when are the codes valid in this book. So this is a complete official code set valid from October 1, 2017 to September 30th, 2018. So obviously these codes are not up to date, but this is just for demonstration purposes only. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with this. So here's the ICD-10-CM official guidelines for coding and reporting. Every diagnosis book you have will have this, okay? It's just this one, but every version, like the different years, they're always going to start off with this, okay? There's some other instructional pages in the front of this, but we're just going to start here, okay? So all of your guidelines are all here. And while it looks a little intimidating because there's quite a few pages of guidelines, it's good to read them so that you can familiarize yourself with all of these guidelines. Now, this is important and a key to being a good medical coder because it's that detail that is going to help you, okay? And understanding how to code is also important as well, okay? And this is the index. Whenever I talk about look up the diagnosis in the index, this is what I mean. So everything is alphabetized. You have your diagnoses listed in bold, and then you have your subcategories as everything underneath it, okay? So whatever you're looking for, you can find it as far as like looking it up, and then looking up in the subcategories is how you would find it. So never ever take anything from the index and think, oh yeah, that's the code. Even if it doesn't look like you need to go back to the tabular section, always go back to the tabular section. I cannot stress that enough because the tabular section is where you'll have your instructional notes listed as well. So make sure that you are doing that. Always go through the steps, okay? You don't want a shortcut when it comes to looking up diagnoses, all right? So, and back here, let me flip. Ta-da! This is your tabular section, okay? So all of your diagnoses that you look up in the index, you can look up back here, okay? So right here, it'll tell you this is chapter 1. These are all of your infections and parasitic diseases. Okay, so in the front of each chapter, there's coding chapter-specific guidelines with coding examples, which is really great when you are first learning, or even if you are just doing a refresher. These are really good, and each section has these, okay? And when you are flipping through the book and you're looking up diagnoses, they have these little instructional notes, okay? Now, I'm not showing it too close because my phone does this thing where it, like, focuses. But you guys get what I mean. So this goes through everything, Okay, so you have to make sure you learn to flip and go back through here, and it's got lots of wonderful illustrations throughout as well. Okay, let's see, and then we have the indexes back here. Once I can flip to it, index. You guys, I will end up getting good with technology soon. Okay. But I wanted to show you guys this. So these are steps to correct coding. They have it all here. The index B is all about the valid 3-character ICD-10 codes, okay? And it's got this whole list of them, okay, that you can use as valid 3-character, okay? You have your pharmacology list. So all of the drugs and the drug action, like what it does, and indications like what kind of disease it's for, are all listed here. Okay, and that's Appendix C. And then we have Appendix D that talks about all the long-term use drugs and what what type of drug it is, and then like the brand of it, the name of the drug. These are all listed back here. The Z codes that are principal first listed diagnoses only, okay? Z codes only as principal first listed diagnosis, okay? This is very important to pay attention to, because you are going to have some that are going to be listed as first listed, and this is very important when you are sequencing, okay? So if you have a Z code that you know you're going to use as your principal diagnosis, look back here and see if it is a first listed diagnosis, okay? Or if you're thinking that it's an additional diagnosis, look to make sure that it's not supposed to be listed as a principal or first listed. All right? Okay, and then here's the Appendix F is the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. I said it earlier, but the hierarchy, there you go, hierarchical condition categories. Okay, so pay attention to those if that's what you are working with, okay? And then we have illustrations, okay? These are wonderful illustrations, very colorful, nice illustrations. It's very important to learn about the body, and this does help. So, all right, so that was it. That was all of this book. So I know I kind of flipped through it real quick, but this is just sort of doing a broad stroke to show you guys like the book and what it can do, because sometimes people just don't go through the book. And if you are a new student or you are in medical coding and you find yourself getting confused and not understanding, it's important to do things the long way instead of trying to find the most shortcuts that you can. If you're trying to find like cheat sheets and shortcuts, it's okay, but at the same time, you need to understand what you're doing before you try to jump in and do all these cheat sheets and things like that and shortcuts. You never want to shortcut yourself when you're first starting to learn, okay? Or if you've been in the field and you're trying to learn and understand more, do not use shortcuts. I can't stress this enough, because anything worth doing is worth doing all the way. It's not worth doing halfway, okay? Or half-assed, you know? You don't want to do something in a half-assed manner trying to just hurry up. It's not going to help you. All it's going to do is frustrate you. And, you know, in the end, it's just like, then you're going to be like, well, why did I get into this? This medical coding is a wonderful field. I love this field. I love what I do. I'm very passionate about what I do. Like I said, it's funny because there are days when I just can't wait to get to work. And I'm like this because I like what I do. I like reading. I like working with my providers. I like being able to learn new things, and I learned something new today. But and I'll discuss it when I discuss Answer Monday. But it's just those kinds of things that will leave you very fulfilled if you do your part as far as studying the guidelines, studying the book, studying the disease process. And even if it doesn't make sense to you, that's okay. Just go with it and continue to stretch yourself as far as like learning more and trying to understand and ask lots of questions. If you are confused on something, let me know. Maybe I can help. Just ask me a very detailed question. Let me know what's throwing you. Don't ask general questions, because general questions is like, how do I use the book? Okay. We can go over that, obviously, because I think that is something that we probably should go over. But if something is confusing you, like on how to look up a diagnosis code, let me know so I can specifically break it down. Because I didn't think that, I thought that if I did something like this kind of video, like showing you the different parts of the book, I thought maybe some people might get bored with that. But then all the messages I've been getting, it's like, no, this is stuff that needs to be broken down and showed. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll go ahead and do that then. So everybody's skill level is different, but the goal for everybody should be to work towards learning more and always ask questions. That's why I like to foster that environment of curiosity, because what you may be curious on but don't ask, somebody else may be curious and they don't ask either. So why not just sort of cut the middleman and just ask, you know? So anyway, but yes, that's my video for today. I'm going to be shooting a couple more videos because I got some things to talk about, and we have Answer Monday to do. So I will see y'all in a little bit, and thank you for watching. Bye.